Hey, you're pretty good. We gotta have the snake bandana on this side. What's a Russian gunship doing here? Solid Snake, the man that saved the world multiple times, stopped not one, not two, but 4 Metal Gears, and who has a really giant messed up family. Who is he? How was he turned into the super soldier we all know and love? And why does he have so many names? Seriously, David, Snake, Iroquois Pliskin, Old Snake, Young Snake, or as we all know him, Solid Snake. Now let's get into the man, the myth, the legend, Old Young Snake, Iroquois Pliskin, Solid David Jr. the Third. Snake or David was born with his twin brother Eli, aka Liquid Snake, in 1972 in a secret government experience, Project L'Enfant Terrible. I'm gonna mess that up probably pretty bad. Now they were created to be the perfect soldier using old dad's genes, Big Boss. Using the process of somatic cell nuclear transfer, 8 clone embryos were created by inserting Big Boss's DNA into incubated egg cells, donated by a healthy Japanese woman. Which doesn't make sense when you see, never mind. By utilizing the super baby method, the embryos were then implanted into the womb of a surrogate mother, with 6 of the babies eventually being aborted to promote healthy growth of the remaining 2. Solid and Liquid, Eli and David. So old super baby Dave was raised in the United States through the foster care system. Because nothing screams government like, let's spend a lot of money creating these super babies and then toss them in the foster care system. Now around 17 or 18, Solid Snake joined the US military. Now, what'd he join? The Army, so he could get that sweet GI Bill and that coveted Green Beret. Would love to see Private Snake. Now, after all his training, he was sent to his first war zone, Iraq. We have a lot in common, me and that Dave guy. Now, after this, he joined his daddy's Special Forces unit, Foxhound. Here, he learned skydiving, closed circuit, open circuit, combat diving, got it, and free climbing. He was also taught CQC by his big daddy, Big Boss. His daddy, Big Boss. His big daddy, Big Boss. His big daddy, Boss. Also during this entire training thing, I have no idea how anyone else was like, man, Snake and Boss look a lot alike. It's like looking in a fucking mirror, just be like, huh. And identical, like. Now, also during these training camps, he met Master Miller. Now to Snake's first mission with Foxhound. In 1995, he was tasked with infiltrating Outer Heaven, a military nation in South Africa. His mission was rescuing Gray Fox and look into an ultimate weapon, Metal Gear, be the name of the series. After sneaking into the base via an underwater insertion, this is not the last time you're gonna see this, he uses it a lot, he gets himself captured to find Gray Fox's secret prison location. He is tossed into the cell next to Gray Fox in this high secure prison, and then, I shit you not, he punches through the wall. He punches through the reinforced steel prison wall to go save Gray Fox next door to him. This is where he learns about Metal Gear for the first time and its nuclear capability. He then goes and rescues Dr. Drago Petrovich and some other peeps and fights his first Metal Gear, TX-55. Now during the escape, Big Boss confronts Snake and tells him himself he was secretly the leader of Outer Heaven this entire time. One more time, how can he, like, he's beating the shit out of his own dad and it's like, nope. This is definitely not my own genetic father that is like an identical twin of me. A battle ensues and Snake defeats Big Boss. Well, actually not the real Big Boss. That was Venom Snake because the real Big Boss was in Central Asia during this entire thing. We'll get to that later. This concluding his mission and Operation Intrude in 313. Now, after this, our boy departs Foxhound and becomes a mercenary for hire. Gotta make them bucks. Apparently also during this, he abandoned his CQC techniques taught to him by Big Boss because he didn't want to be associated with him. Not sure how that works at all. Now he saves up some fat stacks from this little work and does a little semi-retirement into the Canadian wilderness. Now during this, our boy is suffering from a bit of the PTSD from the last mission. So to cure his PTSD and feel a bit better about himself, he decides to go on the next mission, Zanzibar land. Just going, so my PTSD's bad. I need war to reset my PTSD. Now the year is 1999 and our boy is called upon by Foxhound's new commander, Roy Campbell, AKA Sam Trotman from Rambo, for an operation in Central America to a new military nation called Zanzibar land. Now, for this mission, which is called Operation Intrude F-014, they love that name, Intrude. His first objective was to infiltrate the seemingly impenetrable wall around Zanzibar land. As we've watched previously, he can punch through fucking walls, so this will be a cakewalk. Also, he has to save Dr. Kyle Marv and the Oilix formula. It's like an oil refining microbe. And learn about the new Metal Gear being developed. Now during this mission does go down and he has to save a CIA spy named Holly White. Bam! Dr. Marv and his buddy Hefner get killed, but Snake makes it out with the formula. Fast forward to the battle with the new Metal Gear named Metal Gear D, in which Snake makes quick work of. He is then forced to fight his best friend and rival, Gray Fox, Frank Yeager, in a field surrounded by landmines. Snake wins and Fox explodes into a cassette. I'm not even joking, literally. His body explodes from fist fighting and he turns into a little cassette. He then has his final fight with Big Boss. Again, this time using a makeshift flamethrower to kill him. Him and Holly then extract via helicopter and Campbell asks him to rejoin Foxhound. Snake says, nah fam, nah. Because this mission helped cure my PTSD. Not even joking. I wish I was joking. It's literally what it is. That is what it is. Do enough war and the PTSD just resets itself. After Zanzibar land, Snake did a brief stint with the CIA. After spending 6 months as an undercover agent, he became dissatisfied with the organization and left. He then retired and moved to the Twin Lakes of Alaska. Okay, now I'm going off of the wiki thing. So according to wiki, the military had deemed that Snake had committed several acts of misconduct during his career, enough for him to serve a lengthy prison sentence. Not sure how that works. Military, if I go out, get in trouble right now, military's not gonna then just pull me back and be like, you f***ed up, bro. That's like getting an Article 15 for getting like a speeding ticket 10 years after you've been out of the military. Back to his retirement. Now Snake attempted to try and forget his war-torn past and recover from his PTSD. Remember the PTSD that he just cured and surprise Pikachu, that last mission didn't cure his PTSD. And come to terms with the fact that he killed his own dad, which they never explained. They kind of just retconned that in there, that was his daddy. They never explained any time in there. Snake just apparently figured it out. Our boy then takes up some heavy drinking and also gets into dog sled racing. Fun fact, Snake has an IQ of 180. Fast forward to 2005 and Snake is called back again by Roy Campbell. Where's he going? Shadow Moses. This is Metal Gear Solid 1. This is my favorite game in the whole lineup. This one is, oh! Rogue members from Foxhound have taken over Shadow Moses and they're threatening the US with a nuclear strike if the demands of getting Big Boss's remains aren't turned over to them. They are threatening to strike the US with a nuke if Big Boss's remains aren't turned over. Got it. Snake accepts the mission as long as he is only taking orders from Roy Campbell and they disclose all the mission's information to him. Also, during this briefing, Snake is told that he needs to cut his hair because he resembles the terrorist leader, Liquid Snake. Never questions it. Not like the name, the identical twin part. Like, nah, it is what it is. Snake infiltrates Shadow Moses and then he sneaks in through some fence, sees Roy Campbell's daughter, niece at this time, then comes out as daughter later, sees her working out in her panties, depending on how you play the game. He then watches the DARPA chief Donald Anderson die from a heart attack, aka Fox die. It's just Fox die. He also meets Johnny for the first time. Johnny is knocked out naked because Meryl did that. He then fights a cowboy named Revolver Ocelot. Remember that name, it's kind of important. During this fight, the cowboy gets his hand cut off by a robo ninja going by a name Deep Throat. Hit. Snake then sneaks through, fights a tank, and then watches down an alley as this ninja just slaughters so many Genome soldiers in one of the coolest sequences ever, especially on the GameCube. Fun fact, the HK Mark 23 from Metal Gear Solid 1 has a LAM device and suppressor, also one of my favorite freaking firearms of all time. I want a LAM device. He walks in on Robo Ninja about to kill his best friend, well, future best friend, Otacon. Otacon pisses himself in front of both of these guys. Snake and the ninja get in a fist fight, but Snake comes out victorious. He also realizes that ninja is Gray Fox, aka Frank Yeager, aka the dude that blew up into a cartridge in Metal Gear 2. Colonel, that ninja's Gray Fox. And then him and Otacon talk for a little bit. After this, Meryl gets sniped by Sniper Wolf. You go back to fight him, then you get captured. Meryl's already captured, then you get tortured, you get shocked a whole bunch. Then Johnny comes, has poop, so Snake breaks out of his cell using some ketchup. Then you go up top and fight a Hind D. Now during all of this, his good friend Master Miller is helping him thoroughly. The guy that helped train him in Foxhound. He's a brother, he's a comrade, who was surprised Liquid Snake the entire time. This dude with 180 IQ is looking at his image when I think how's the codec work. It's just a pair of glasses and his hair's tied back, and he's none the wiser that is not Master Miller. It's his brother, Liquid Snake. Got him! You got him! What? Now, because of this Master Disguise, Liquid then tricks Snake into activating Metal Gear Rex. He then fights it, then Cyborg Ninja shows up, Gray Fox, and then Cyborg Ninja, boom, shoots the little radome thingy. Snake and him have a conversation. Snake's like, man, Naomi doesn't like me because I killed you. And then Gray Fox is like, yo, I can't stand looking at my sister's eyes because I killed her parents. And then Snake's like, oh, fam. And then Gray Fox runs off and he fights Rex, and then he destroys the radome, opening the cockpit as his lifeless body falls, and then Rex turns him into a little red jello puddle, little red puddle on the ground. Now, during this entire thing, Naomi tells Snake, like, hey bro, sorry, I did inject you with Fox dye. You're the one spreading this all around killing people. But it was for a good cause, because you did kill my brother, the brother that can't make eye contact with me. Yeah, but you killed him, so I have to kill you. And then Snake, using his Stinger missile system, defeats Metal Gear Rex. During this explosion, he is knocked out cold, and then Liquid gets out of Rex, takes his knocked out brother, tosses him, and climbs up on top of Rex, where they have one last fist fight, but not before Liquid reveals everything. I still don't know how he got his brother up there in the first place. Literally no idea. It's like, They're like really high up in the, like if you fall off, you die. Video games. Liquid taunts Snake with the knowledge that he had killed so many of his brothers in the next generation special forces who, like Snake, had been experimented on to replicate Big Boss's genes. He tells him about the Le Front Terrible and more info on his pops and how Liquid hates him for being inferior. Remember that part is key. He's like, oh snap, beats the shit out of his brother. Liquid loses. Now after saving Meryl, they escape using a Jeep, but Liquid's not dead. Cue high-speed Jeep chase battle. Liquid at this point has taken like 40 stingers to the face, punched in the face a lot of times, and now just eating M60 bullets just. They finally escape a giant wreck, and then Liquid walks up to finish Snake off, but Liquid dies to Fox die. Snake gets a bandana and they fake Snake's death and drive off into the sunset. Now, small part that Snake wouldn't have known about this is Ocelot calls the president George Sears and lets him know Snake was actually the weaker of the brothers. Dun dun! Our boy Liquid was tripping for no reason. Fun fact, Snake's a heavy cigarette smoker. During Operation Intrude in 313 and F014, he smoked unfiltered versions of the Lucky Strikes. Hey y'all, make sure you stay tuned next week for part 2 of Solid Snake's life story. Hope you all enjoy it. Make sure you comment below, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And remember, hey, pretty good.